My apologies. Thanks, Jared. So Intricity focuses on three key areas: data governance, data warehousing, and business intelligence. And certainly much of our conversation relies on proper data governance, proper data management practices to master customers, understand metadata, and have quality data in place. Of course, those are important tenets on which to build. But we're focused today on the far right, which is how do we plan and how do we forecast and how do we improve and analyze our omni-channel customer experience. And so the practices that are on this page focus on how do we do that. And we'll talk specifically about omni-channel customer experience, but certainly we'll talk about point of sale and various other aspects of measuring the customer experience as well. If you haven't seen this is Intricity runs a YouTube channel, Intricity 101. You can simply Google Intricity 101 and you'll have a link to all of the videos that have been produced. These videos are not product specific, so they're videos that focus on what is master data management, how does Salesforce differ from a data warehouse, and many topics that are on the managerial side as well as on technology side, but really well laid out. We've had over 1 million people view the channel and had some very positive accolades about the work that we've done. So certainly we would welcome you to take a look and see and provide some feedback to us on what you've seen as well as perhaps new topics that might be of interest to you. Apologies for a busy eye chart, but this chart really focuses on the fact that information cuts across a variety of industries, and this is a partial list of customers, and clearly you could see retail certainly is a big segment, but so is financial services, so is insurance, so is media. Healthcare certainly is a big sector. Not-for-profit is a big sector, higher education, so colleges, universities are also changing the way that they interact with students. And not only is learning in classroom, there are other modalities through which learning is delivered. And so understanding and measuring that experience is critically important. And of course, that's true for retail customers. And traditionally, people think of retail, brick and mortar stores, and web commerce. And we'll certainly talk about the changes that we've seen over the years. So if we go back to a long time ago, 1995, we clearly see that the world was dramatically different. We had a warehouse and fulfillment was to the store. And so our focus was how do we optimize store space, and we dealt with things in a retail segment, of course, focused on how do we deliver to a customer. If we're in a B2B setting, that was sort of the same thing. We may not have necessarily a retail location, but we're providing and shipping products directly to our customers, and the way that they interacted with us were through purchase orders, fax orders, and things of that nature. And as the journey got us into the new century, clearly e-commerce became more of the norm. And so there became a segmentation where we would service customers through our e-commerce location and we would service our customers through the store. And of course, in 2008, 2011, the big changes there, mobile technology became a big enabler. And 2011 is sort of the time point where we have cross-channel commerce. So we're serving our customers through a cross-section of different channels. And of course, beyond this year and beyond, everyone is focused on the omni-channel commerce. And so we're focused on understanding how do we serve customer irrespective of the channel they're coming in from and offering the best possible experience. And that's what this webinar is on. It's about how do we, what do we measure, how do we measure, how do we plan, so that the customer experience is transparent, irrespective of whether you're in the store or you're in on an e-commerce website or using our mobile app while in the store or while on the phone. Now, I do say store quite a bit in this conversation, but store is a placeholder. Store could be, it doesn't necessarily just equate to e-commerce or retail type transactions. Other organizations are dealing with customers in an omni-channel setting as well. So this was a study done by Google about a year and a half ago, and it was focused on offline as well as online shopping experiences. And it certainly shouldn't be surprising to you, but because we're the folks that they studied, research today for products that you would like to buy, 44% start off by researching online before they buy products online. 17%, a much smaller number, visit the store before they make an online purchase. And then, of course, if you look at research that's done by visiting the store, viewing the product, and then purchasing the product online, certainly a smaller segment. But it should not be ignored that those who do research online will still go back to the store and do a purchase. So in this particular study, 51% went back to the retail location to make the actual purchase, while all of the research was done online. So again, streamlining that experience and understanding how we measure that experience becomes critically important, because here we have half of our customer base in this example converting to a store purchase after their experience online. And so again, depending on how that experience went, that conversion may or may not take place with us. They may take place with a competitor. So Omni-Channel Calculations. It shouldn't surprise you that one of the first and most important things is identifying our target customer. So customer segmentation, persona analysis is critically important. And that means looking at the data, looking at demographic information in the data, looking at and understanding who are the most profitable customers. And profitable customers, we'll talk about customer lifetime value, but profitable customers are measured in many different ways. And so the other variable we need to look at is what's the cost to serve across channels. So what's our cost to serve on an e-commerce website? And we would add all of the variables that go along with that, processing returns, understanding what our return rates are, understanding what our call center needs to be so that we handle customer service questions, email-based customer service, and then returns that are handled at the store. And what are those variables cost us? Many organizations have begun to collect this kind of data. And so this conversation is not just about this segment, but also using the data that we're getting from our customer journey metrics as well as from our routing rules. So in this example, and we'll talk more about baselining the customer journey in the next couple of slides, but defining routing rules is also very important. So we want to be able to identify who is the customer. Why are they in the store? Are they there to do a return? Are they there to do a purchase? What segment do they belong to? What's their segmentation? What does their segmentation model look like? Ultimately, what are the objectives of the customer? Are there specific activities that they expected to complete in the store? Were they able to complete them? All of those kinds of things we're able to measure. And then routing our customers from perhaps an online experience to a store experience, products available in stock. Are we able to fulfill to store? Are we able to ship direct to customer? Those ultimately fulfill situations are also ratios and numbers that are very important for our calculations. One of the things that this is something that's available, and certainly the presentation will be available to you, but also understanding how our cross-channels, our omni-channels interact with us. So if we have a website, doing lookups, for example, becomes a high priority. Obviously, a print catalog is low priority because the printed catalog doesn't allow for those capabilities. And so this matrix looks at physical store, mobile app, tablet app, website, and print catalog, and what does that experience look like across the exploration process, as well, all the way through to purchase. Most importantly, across all of those omni-channels, how do we keep track of our product taxonomy? So if we have a product catalog and that product catalog is available on the web, do we have access to the same product catalog in the store? What's our approach to that? And do we have enough attributes around our products to understand what products we have and which channels are they available in? Baselining the customer journey is critically important in deriving a customer experience understanding. And so what we looked for is we look at what is our customer journey when they enter a store all the way through purchase, and how does that compare to their online experience? How does it compare to their mobile experience? And so as we measure things that go from perfect all the way down to unacceptable, how do we understand that journey, and how do we identify intersections in that journey that could be changed? And so here we're looking to understand, and this might help a bit, we look at the canvas to understand what our customer journey looks like. And so on the left, before that relationship begins, we might be doing some things on the advertising and public relations site. We might be running a social media campaign, or customers might be coming in based on word of mouth. Understanding what their journey was through our organization and measuring that provides us incredible value in understanding what changes do we want to make in that journey. And so typically we would go through and prepare, run through the journey for different personas. So somebody who is, in case of a retailer or grocer setting, somebody who's a foodie or somebody who's a wine lover, or somebody who's primarily focused on buying some specific items in our store. Maybe it's somebody who's interested in photography and they're looking for high-end photography equipment, or someone who's looking at buying insurance. The journey that they take from entering our organization may start online, may continue with an agent, and ultimately lead to closure of that business. And again, measuring where they came from, what they did, and how that experience affected them becomes critically important. And so what we try to do with our customers is make it as easy as possible for those who can actually make the changes to their journey and make that change effective, allow them to understand personas. And so this is a dashboard. We've cleaned up, we've removed customer identifiable data here. But what we're looking for on this dashboard is we're looking at a persona. And for this organization, there were 5 key personas that were identified. And this is labeled as Persona A. And so when this was run on the 16th of March, they looked at, and they're interested in looking at the weekly trend and understanding what the weekly trend is for that persona and how it's proceeding. They're very focused, this organization is very focused on social media campaigns, and so what they're doing is they're looking to see where their followers are coming in from. They're a global organization, where their followers are coming in from, as well as looking at detailed transactional data. So we are able to drill down to store sales at a particular store. We're able to drill down to same-store sales. We're able to drill down to web and mobile. And so we are able to, from a single dashboard, get to mobile data, web data, same-store data, and so on. The other thing that we're tracking here is we're tracking customer lifetime value. So for Persona A, we've identified that their typical customer lifetime value is $3,500. And so that value will continuously update, in their case, on a weekly basis, and they're looking to see if they can drive CLV to higher levels. And again, CLV is one of the measures that helps us understand how effective our omni-channel campaigns are. And of course, the gears at the bottom allow us to go in and make configuration changes so we can switch from persona to persona and so on. This dashboard is more focused on segmented look by channel, by age group. And so here we're looking at different age groups that we're focused on, and we're looking to see for today what the change is, and we're looking at weekly numbers. Did we do something? Do we have some specific campaigns? And all of these items are drillable, so I'm able to drill into Tuesday, for example, and understand where the $123 came from, or why Friday was higher than Tuesday. And so again, understanding and mapping that through these dashlets allows us to understand what our marketing campaigns are doing, what our customer experience campaigns are doing at the store level, and what the impact is across the organization. We talk about customer lifetime value, and certainly one of the big measures that we use in understanding our relationship with the customer is what the overall customer lifetime value is. And certainly the formulas might look scary, but we have an engine that allows us to do real-time customer lifetime value calculations. But unlike traditional models that sort of look at holistically, we have 50,000 customers and we look at what their average transaction size is. Our approach to CLV is down to the customer level, so we're able to derive customer lifetime metrics, and more importantly, provide customer lifetime projections. So the ability to not only look historically what happened in the past year, but more importantly, predict for this particular customer how likely are they to do more business with us, and based on that value, drive our omni-channel programs to understand segmentation. So for example, if we have a persona of someone who is traditionally an online purchaser who's focused on a particular market segment, we're able to target those individuals and change our marketing programs so that our dollar spend on marketing is targeted instead of simply going to the entire group, because we understand who is more likely to purchase, who is in the middle, and who is about to drop out and churn. So being able to target those customers on a scientific basis becomes critically important. Ultimately for us, it's not just the ideas and journeys, and it is for us really looking at scientific and actual actionable data. And so point of sale ultimately is an important vehicle for us, and so transactional history is very, very important. Many of our customers have separate siloed models, even though they're focused on omni-channel, and chief executives speak to the fact that they're focused on omni-channel. The organizations have grown through a cross-channel model. And so the data systems, the way the data is aligned is that it's not aligned. Data lives for brick and mortar in point-of-sale systems that manage that, and e-commerce many times is managed using certainly different systems, and the data is in different places as well. And so for us, the big thing is how do we bring this data into the organization? Instead of doing it every 8 hours, we're looking at intraday. We want to be able to get real-time updates and integrate customer experience in this particular example so that I'm able to allow for in-store pickup or allow for shipping options while I'm shopping online and have the ability to convert in and walk into the store. The other big thing is, of course, the point-of-sale systems that live within the store capture a tremendous amount of data. And so the experience that our customers have in the store many times is visible through the transactional data that's coming back from the point-of-sale systems. And so we're able to look at point-of-sale transactions and target customers for satisfaction surveys, and in order to understand if the journey that we've mapped out is indeed the journey that we understand, so that we can understand the persona and drive the metrics for that persona as accurately as possible. And again, making it scientific rather than hypothetical. One of the challenges, of course, even at the store level, if we're omni-channel today, but we're at the store level, point-of-sale registers were not really designed for real-time operations. And so what we've done is create a mechanism where we're able to bring data intraday, to trickle the data back to the enterprise. And so much like we have with our e-commerce site, where we have data in real time, we're bringing point-of-sale data in real time as well. And so omni-channel customer experience is the umbrella for us to be able to do and measure digital marketing, for example, digital couponing. And so if we are providing a real-time coupon for our customer, whether they be in the store or they be online, it gives us an opportunity to market to them through their mobile devices, provide a coupon, and then measure the effectiveness of that program, not just through our website, but also through the store and the interaction that happens at the store. The other important thing is we're able, and this example talks about IBM ACE, but certainly we have this for other retail systems. So if you have Micros or if you have IBM ACE is Toshiba. So irrespective of which point-of-sale system you have in the store, the idea is to be able to understand our customer both on our e-commerce site as well as through our point-of-sale systems. And so we're using technologies for messaging to be able to bring that data across. And one of the key things that we have, Intricity has partnered with Informatica, so we have ability to do real-time messaging, bring real-time transactions from the store directly into the enterprise so that we're able to monetize that, as well as connect to our e-commerce systems and be able to bring that data across. So again, the conversation is not purely about the fact that omni-channel customer experience needs to be measured, but also how do we do it? And so the experience that we bring to the table is the ability to provide the integration capability to bring that data across, and knowing what to measure, knowing where to get the data becomes the critical success factor. These are a little bit more technical terms. So again, some of you on the phone might represent the IT organization. Some of you might represent more of the marketing organization. And so clearly, the things that we want on the business side, we want a real-time access to our data so we can understand how our changes to store layout, how our changes to our website provide real-time analytics. Real-time data so that we can do real-time analytics. And so the things that we typically look for, we conduct A/B testing campaigns, certainly online and with mobile marketing, to understand how we're able to drive more business to the store and drive more business to our e-commerce website. And ultimately, it's about understanding the customer. And so the ability to understand, based on purchasing history, how we can optimize our marketing spend. If my marketing budget is $100,000 for this quarter, where do I spend it on? Which customers do I target? One of the folks that we work with, when we first met, said that he knows for a fact that 50% of their dollar spend is effective. He just doesn't know which 50% it is. And so the focus here is to put the science behind the data to provide us the necessary analytics that we can access to know which customers to target and which customers do we need to focus on. But again, the journey, the omni-channel journey, is a critical part of this. We potentially understand how our customers interact with us online because we're capturing online clickstream data, and we're able to analyze that. What we're doing is we're also overlaying customer clickstream data based on transactional behavior in the store. Ultra messaging, we're using PowerCenter with Real-Time Edition to be able to pull data into the operational data store. And then, of course, our data warehouse and our business intelligence capabilities become very critical. And so if your organization is already an Informatica customer and you have capabilities to leverage Informatica platform, we already have modules that are written to integrate with all of these point-of-sale systems and bring Omni-Channel Calculations into your organization. And if you don't, certainly the platform allows for that to exist with whatever data sources you have. And last but not least, keeping the information current. So we are capturing data that comes in from our social media feeds. We have data that comes in from Salesforce, and ultimately our ERP systems that are capturing financial and transactional data as well as our point of sale. And so the dashboards that I showed earlier get refreshed for that particular customer every single day. For others, they get refreshed minute by minute. So they're actually looking at individual visitors to the website, and they're tracking conversion, and they're tracking experience based on activity on the website as well as in the store. And so the idea is that this is an engine. This is not something that you do once. It's an engine that allows you to have a measure on your dashboard that adds omni-channel customer experience as one of those key performance indicators to measure how effective our omni-channel program is. Again, we meet with executives, and the conversation about omni-channel is on everyone's mind. Everyone talks about omni-channel. The challenge with omni-channel is it's not just the fact that you have an e-commerce website or you have, obviously, your brick and mortar stores are already in place. It's the question that we are helping to answer is how do we leverage omni-channel as a mechanism to drive more sales. So it shouldn't be that like we have a customer, when their website went up, the concern was that would take business away from their stores, and they were very, very worried about that. And the reality was that we showed this with data, and we were able to measure this with data, is by tweaking the omni-channel. So in their particular case, the fact that there was an e-commerce presence did not take away from the stores. Instead, it drove customers who were located further from the store to go to the store for the very first time, which was an incredible find that wasn't necessarily visible or expected. The other big thing that's important is tweaks and changes in the omni-channel customer experience in the journey allow us to take 1 + 1 and make it equal 3 in case of value, as it relates to value. So it's very, very important measure and very important tactic to say that we're going to do omni-channel and we're doing omni-channel, but measuring it allows us to make improvements and changes to the way our customers interact with us. So between mobile apps, in-store customer experience, our e-commerce website, all of those become highly tuned and integrated instead of being separate silos operated sometimes by separate people in the organization. The other important thing is keeping it accurate. Again, one of the challenges that we have with customers is many times if there is no loyalty program, perceived loyalty program can be run. So we are able to hash and mask, for example, credit card numbers. And so we don't store credit card or PCI data by any means, but at least we're able to identify that it's the same individual making the purchase. And so we're able to create loyalty measures and then tie those loyalty measures to our e-commerce omni-channel experience. And so again, I'm able to identify, or our customers are able to identify who the purchaser is, whether they be in the store or online. And so we're using online data and store data and identifying the unique individuals. Because again, if we're doing any sort of customer experience measures, or if we're doing any sort of omni-channel marketing, the big question is, who am I marketing to? Who are my customers? And so in this particular example, we're using master data management technology to be able to identify who the customer is. This is a B2B example, and it works certainly in a B2C setting as well. But who are those customers? How do we know that it's the same one individual so that we're able to properly target that individual? The example here is customers who come into the store and customers who are online sometimes appear as different individuals in our transactional systems ultimately. And so if we don't know that customer A has made 27 purchases and is in our system is represented as 3 or 4 different people, it makes it very difficult for us to understand, is this a good customer, is this a bad customer? And so being able to create that golden record becomes incredibly important. And so being able to get to the omni-channel customer experience measure is to be able to also identify who that customer is and understand what that customer represents for us. One of the things, and we're wrapping up, and certainly we'll open this up for questions, one of the things that we have put in place is a very structured engagement. It's focused on 3 weeks, and the engagement defines a reference architecture for an organization. We do data profiling to understand what the initial data set needs to look like, and we build a data science model to measure omni-channel customer experience. And many times it also coincides with customer lifetime value measures as well. So it is made up of 4 key things: validating goals and objectives, identifying and profiling data sources, defining what the omni-channel customer experience model is for your organization, and then standing up a dashboard that can support that omni-channel customer experience model. Jared, would you like to open this up for questions?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, thanks, Arkady. So if you go to if you look at the icons, there's 2 questions that are right from in, but if you go to the icon here on the top, you'll see this little question panel, or you'll see a little bubble for questions. You can type your questions in there. One of the questions that's come across, Arkady, is in a non-retail setting, can you talk to how omni-channel, how this would work in an omni-channel scenario?
Certainly. So retailers are certainly the ones that have embraced and are focused on omni-channel, but so are other industries and other businesses. So if we look at accounting services, and it would be helpful for me if there was a specific industry that you represent, I could give you specific examples, but it certainly applies to banking, retail banking as well as non-retail banking. It applies to...
They just wrote financial services.
Sure. And so we're working, for example, with an organization that's focused on managing pension dollars. But certainly organizations in financial services are today omni-channel. We are targeting our customers through multiple mechanisms, and we're servicing our customers through multiple means. And so if we have a website where we're able to allow our customers to open accounts, fund accounts in a B2C setting, certainly that experience can be measured. If we also have a call center where folks are able to call in, that experience can be measured. And so if you have a customer, irrespective of what industry you're in, that customer represents an overall customer lifetime value. This is a very important metric. And again, excuse me, this metric allows us to make lots of very interesting decisions. but in the financial services sector in particular, we conduct marketing events as an example. And so prospecting work that we do by mailing brochures, traditional print and catalog, having webinars with our customers, prospects, having face-to-face presentations with those customers. Those are all multiple channels through which we try to touch our prospects and our customers. And so measuring it allows you to do two very important things. One is to understand and prioritize your marketing spend. So again, the example, I have $100,000. I'd like to give $1,000 to every prospect that I would like to come in and convert to a customer, as an example. Who should I make that offer to? And the question is, do I want to make that offer to customers who are likely to purchase from us anyway, or do I want to do this with customers that might be in the middle who are less likely to purchase from us, or do I want to do that with customers that are about to churn? And so I'm looking to have retention with those customers. And this works in life insurance, it works in retail, it works in all sorts of different industries, including higher education. For example, we're measuring to understand if we have matriculated students who will do graduate programs with us. And so again, multiple channels of delivery, and looking at that journey to understand how will they interact with us if we offer online master's program versus non-online. But again, financial services is a perfect example where Omni-Channel is present today, and we're able to measure it and provide insight into marketing. And the second side that I was going to talk about was sales. So if you have a direct sales force that's focused on transactions and focused on knowing which customers, which prospects to focus on, getting these measures in place allows that sales force to be much more laser focused and much more targeted on those accounts that are have a higher probability of closure. Doing less with more.
Yeah. So another question.
More with less.
In here, right. So another question that's on here is how much does this 3-week engagement cost?
So the 3-week engagement is between $75,000 and $125,000. It really depends on how many data sources are in place and if there are multiple folks that need to be involved. But again, the focus and the most important things: what do we need to measure? And that's the first part of this exercise. The second is getting that data, and the third is we do build a model that can be run again and again and again and again. So this model truly represents the business and represents the key performance indicators that are necessary to drive it.
Okay, another question is how do you identify the data sources? Is that an IT exercise?
So IT certainly is an important enabler of this function, but again, this engagement is focused primarily on the business drivers. So it's a business conversation, not an IT conversation. Data sources are in place today, and so sometimes data sources are available to you through reports, through your scorecards, your dashboards, and your reports. And so sometimes it's not about making a round trip and doing some extensive work. Many times that data is difficult to get to. And so our ability to connect to data sources like Salesforce, for example, or SAP, we already have connectors that allow us to do that. And so part of our partnership with Informatica is that we do not have to worry about where the data source lives. We have the ability to connect to any data source that's out there. And also to deal with questions of product master, to deal with questions of customer master. So these are very, very important things because, again, if our customer is represented 10 times in our system, can we really know what that customer's value is to us unless we understand that 10 is really 1.
And then what does the logical solution architecture do?
Another great question. So many times, logical solution architecture represents us as consumers. So if I'm chief of marketing, or if I'm a customer engagement manager, or if I'm focused on sales, I'd like to know, how do I get and where do I get the data from? And so this is a diagram, it is a picture that shows the flows of data and the calculations that data needs to go through in order to get to me and be a metric. The reason that logical solution architecture is important is it connects the two groups that are many times disconnected, the business and IT. Again, this is a business-focused diagram, but it helps to understand for both business and IT where the data needs to originate from and where it flows from and how does it get to the ultimate user. Think of it as a planogram in a store, for example, or think of it like a map. It is truly a map to the results. And so to the far right in this diagram are the results that we're looking to achieve, in this particular case, namely omni-channel customer experience measures. And to the left is the maze of all of the things and systems and processes and rules that we have to go through. And so capturing that in one diagram allows the conversation to become much easier because it helps us to prioritize which systems to go after, which systems have data, and again, on a single diagram, I have the view of the entire organization as it relates to what my interest is to get omni-channel customer experience measures.
You mentioned CLV as an engine. How does that apply to the omni-channel presentation?
Another great question. So our customer lifetime value overall is across omni-channel. But in order to understand how we're doing in each of the channels to reach a total customer lifetime value, it is a sigma, it is a sum of CLVs across each channel. And so what we are keenly interested in doing is on an individual basis, not just an overall segment, but on an individual basis, how the work that we're doing across the channels impacts our CLV. CLV is an important indicator for us because ultimately customer lifetime value is enterprise value. So if we look to 1 million customers that we have and we understand what their lifetime value is and we add them up, that sum is ultimately the value of our organization. And so CLV and the CLV engine is critically important because as we measure our customer, omni-channel customer experience, ultimately what we care about measuring is how does that impact our enterprise value? How does it impact our individual customer lifetime value?
Does your 3-week engagement cover the cost of building the process diagrams of a customer coming into our organization?
Another great question. So again, one of the things that we're doing as part of the work is mapping out the journey, because if we don't understand the journey, it's very difficult for us to know what data elements we care about measuring. And so,
Arkady, your phone is cutting out.
Is this back here?
Nope. All right. Well, we're close to the end anyway. We only have a few more questions, which we can respond to. I can respond to these offline with some of the folks that are remaining. I apologize that we weren't able to complete here, but I appreciate everybody
Jared,
coming
is the
online.
connection?
Yes.
Has the connection improved at all?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, and so getting those maps in place is critically important because we'll know exactly what we are to measure.
Okay.
What were the other questions, Jared?
So, hold on a second. Let me pull it back up because I closed it.
So maybe while you're doing that, the answer is, do we do the charts? The answer is yes, because I said a lot, and the most important part was yes. We do the customer journey charts.
So, okay, how long does it take to come up with a customer lifetime value?
That's an excellent question. So we'd like more information than this, but we need essentially just the information about the date of when the transactions take place and the dollar amount, and the unique customer ID of that customer. And of course the dollar amount of transactions by customer. The modeling effort, so getting the data, of course, is the most challenging part, and coming up with the model. Customer lifetime value, we've done it for customers in 2 weeks. We've done it for one customer where it took us about a week and a half. So it really depends. But on the order of magnitude, I would say between a week and 4 weeks.
Okay. So that's the remaining questions. I think we've answered some of the duplicates. So if we don't have any additional questions, I'm going to go ahead and close it out, and then we'll follow up with you individually and chat with you about the 3-week engagement, see if this is a good applicability to your individual organization. So, Arkady, I appreciate the time, and I appreciate everybody coming online.
Thanks, everyone.